Hey everybody, this is gonna be a tutorial on how to play Twisted Treeline. I've been asked to do this because not many people actually know how that mode works, and you can't really find that many resources online for it. So that video is gonna be just about how to play this. First of all, the most important thing is what you're supposed to pick, or rather what kind of composition. Most people in low elos, or rather lower elos, are going to play with a jungler, which is not what you're supposed to do. Instead, what you have to play is something called a hypercarry. The hypercarry is a champion, in my case it's going to be Mordekaiser, backed up by a support. And his goal is going to be to, you can see that have a smite. The goal of the hyper is just to get lots and lots of farm, both in the jungle and in the top lane. And the hyper is supposed to be the main damage threat, with the bot laner being the somewhat secondary damage one. So what champions are supposed to be picked? As the hypercarry, you want to play usually a bruiser or an ADC. So currently both roles can be played. So as bruiser you have Ilaoi, Mordekaiser, Xin Zhao, Darius, Jax, all that kind of things. You just want a champion that has to be reliable in the late game, or somewhat reliable, and that has to be able to clear things nicely early on. As for the support, you want to play a tank. Poppy and Leona are currently the best, but you can also play Maokai, Nautilus, or Sejuani, for example. And in the bot lane, you want to play a mage, just like you'd play in the mid lane in Summoner's Rift. This is not really a good example because we've got an ADC in our bot lane, but that's just because I'm playing an AP hypercarry, so we just wanted to have some AD damage. Okay, so now that was about the champions. Now I can just roll that a bit, just to show how it works. So you'll see that both hypercarries are always going to start with a jungle item, and then, since you start with 850 gold, either you take a Targon or you just take a normal starter item, like Doran's Blade or something, and the normal Spectator mode bug. So we're just going to wait a bit. I'm just going to show my own point of view for now. Okay, so you want to clear the first jungle camps. Usually, most people take 3 camps, I only take 2. I prefer it that way. You need to use your smites early on, either in the first or in the second camp. You need to use your smites before 1 minute 27 because of a bug. I'll go back on it later, I think. It's not that important, I mean the explanation, but just use it before. So you clear 1 or 2 camps. I mean, you clear 2 or 3 camps. Currently you can see they're clearing 3. And then you go in lane. If that would work, you go in lane. And you push the lane. I'm the one, or I mean the hypercarry is going to be the one who will get all the minions in the jungle, and same in lane, with the exception of the Targon minions. It's pretty straightforward. It's a 2v2 lanes. It's a 2v2 lane, but with melee champions, so you farm and you trade as much as you can. So that was about the top lane. In the bot lane, in the meantime, you just have, well, I guess what would be a normal mid lane matchup. Or, I mean, the same way as a mid lane would be played. Just have 2 mid lane champions that are farming and poking each other. Let's just keep that going for a while. Okay. So, about the duo lane, it's gonna be just the same thing of the beginning repeated over and over again. It's just, you get the camps in the jungle, and you farm the lane, and you get the camps, you farm the lane, and so on. You fight when you think you can, you avoid fighting when you think you can't. That's just pretty basic. The skill in there is not really in the micro or in the mechanics, but mostly just about judging what you can and can't do, and very, very importantly, watching how the bot lane goes. Because you'll want to fight the enemy duo lane if you can, And you also want to invade their jungle. Because otherwise you're just gonna all have the same farm, because you're gonna take the lane and your jungle, they're gonna take their lane and their jungle. It's the same, and you can't really snowball by just farming. So you need to invade the enemy jungle and to fight their dual lane. The issue with that is that if you invade, it's the same as in 5v5, the enemy bot laner has the easier way to come to fight you. You can see, not a good example, but let's say 15 seconds before. 15 seconds again. Okay, right there. If I wanted to invade, so going that way, can't really ping, no, can't ping. Going that way and then there. So if let's say I'm gonna take the wolves camp there, the enemy top lane can just collapse from there to my camp. And same, the enemy bot lane can just go from there to there with that bush, or because she's sunrise, just by using a claw over the wall. But if she does that, she's gonna miss all of the wave under her turret. That's just the same thing as in 5v5. It's a bot lane advantage. If you are the one who's gonna push the bot lane, oh well, I mean, in 5v5, if you are the one who can push your lane under the enemy turret, you can roam without losing anything. And if the enemy mid laner wants to follow you, he has to either lose time because he's gonna clear the minions first, or lose the minions. So in both cases, it's a good trade for you. This is what you want to do as a bot lane. You want to push into the enemy turrets, so that the opponent has to either lose CS or not follow. And in both cases, that's a win for you. Also, lane priority is much more important on that mode than on 5v5 because of how close the lanes are. If you are able to push bot lane, you can not only join the jungle fights faster, but also just gank on your own on the enemy top lane. Okay, now we can keep going forward a bit. Okay. So right there, we just push the top lane. And we are ahead. And I mean, anyway, our composition is better early on than theirs. So we're just gonna invade the jungle and take whichever camps we can find. So currently, this one. Pretty intensive jungle gameplay right there. And there, of course, the fight's going to happen. As you can see, the enemy bot laner is going to go faster, but we have the better composition for the early. So they're just gonna die. Oof, like this. So that is what you're trying to achieve by invading. You can just get camps freely, and so you're gonna get an advantage in gold and XP over your opponents. And if they try to contest, you fight. And you kill them. And that's how you're supposed to snowball with earlier game champions, or just when you're ahead. You just shouldn't forget to clear your own jungle every now and then. And the recall once in a while when your champion has that kind of sustain. The things there are altars. Both altars give a buff to the team that controls it. And when you capture it, it belongs to a team and it stays locked for a fixed amount of time, 90 seconds. But afterwards, the enemy team can just take it back by standing on it for 8 seconds, I believe. The buff it gives, for the first altar you get 10% movement speed, and for the second altar you get some health and mana back for every minion you kill. Minion or jungle monster. I don't think the second buff is really useful at all, actually. But the thing is that if you have both altars, the enemy team is not gonna get the movement speed, which is huge in my opinion. So there we keep invading, and afterwards you'll see one of the big dangers of Twisted Treeline. Taking greedy path. That's actually me screwing right there, screwing up. Careful, challenger gameplay. And there we go. That was just me not being used to playing against Karnar often, and I just completely forgot he could do this. So that was basically me suiciding and giving 2 kills over 2 limited. Anyway, doing that is already risky when you're facing just a puppy alone. Because if you just go that way, the puppy is gonna stand you against the wall. And it works both ways. Right there, if I were to take the jungle and to want to come back to lane this way, puppy would just sit there, wait there, and E me against the wall. And then the enemy hypercarry just runs me down. So against the puppy or just against really anything that can engage on you, so actually any supports. If you can't fight, take the safe path and go that way, back to lane. Not much more to say right there. The rest isn't really important. Afterwards, just normal things. I don't even know if we did any bot lane dives. Not sure. But anyway, another thing you're supposed to do throughout the game is whenever you're able to roam as a duo lane, you are going to want to go bot lane and either gank if you can or dive. If, for example, okay, I'm gonna freeze right there. If as the red team, if you manage to push it up right there, to push the minions and the turrets, you're gonna roam, and instead of just invading the jungle, you're gonna go bot lane and kill Lucian, because he's way too far ahead and he wouldn't be able to escape. So what I said about the bot lane priority works both ways around. As the bot laner, if you're too far ahead, really watch out for the top lane ganks, because the support can always kill you easily. I mean, a support can just lock you down and then the hyper kills you. Just imagine being a mid laner, but with a lane on which it's harder to escape, and always having an enemy Leona being missing with her jungler. That's pretty much how it is. I'm just gonna keep it going. Yeah. There's a heal in the middle of the map. It respawns every 90 seconds and it gives health and mana back. Also speeds you up. I think he survived with his shield right there. Yes, I did. There's nothing much to say there. We just push him back and then... Yeah, that's something we do often. The support just pushes the turret when the enemy ADC is dead or back to base, and the hyper invades at the same time. So that one person gets some farm and the other one gets some push down. That is not what you're supposed to do. First turret does not give anything else on this mode. Just shows that you have taken the first turret, but you don't have any bonus gold or anything. And about turrets, turrets are not that worthy to take on that mode. Like they give map control, but that's only it, because they only give 100 gold per teammate, and since you only have 3 people per lane, I mean 3 people per team, it doesn't give much. It doesn't give that much, because it's only as much as a kill if you don't get any assists. So turrets are just like you only take them for map control, nothing else. What we did right there, just okay, right there. That's pretty much what I was talking about with the bot lane ganks. She's not even pushing in that far. I mean, actually, she's not pushing at all. But since we have taken the turret bot lane, and since we were pushing top lane, we were just free to sit in that bush and gank her whenever she would come. Back to some jungle clearing. There's not much more going on. Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk a bit about the stamina spells and items right now. So the hypercarries always take flash and smite, and nothing else. I mean, unless you're playing something that wants to play with ghost instead of flash, but that's... I don't really see who would do that. Even Olaf would take flash usually. So yeah, just go flash smite and that's good. The support is not taking flash. It's always heal, exhaust, or sometimes exhaust ignite if you want to be a bit more aggressive. And also if your bot laner is taking heal. The bot laner takes whatever he wants. That's like normal. About the items. So as the hyper carry, you need to complete your jungle item at some point, but not that early. You want to rush the smite, the red smite. Usually, not really on Mordekaiser, but on other champions, you want to rush the red smite because it's just way too strong. But afterwards, you're actually kind of free to go whatever you want. Just a normal fight. And one of the reasons why Poppy is super strong on that mode. The ult. Okay, I still don't know why she didn't dash there. She could, but yeah, I think Poppy noticed that. Yeah, so about the builds. On Hypercarry, it's really pretty much whatever you want. Just whatever you have to get for now. Bot laners really often take... Nobody has taken it there. Usually a bot laner starts with one Doran and one Spell Thief, the blue support item. Because the active of that item is really, really good. Because you're playing on a map with no vision and with lots and lots of skirmishes. So both the slow and the vision are really, really valuable in it, and it also just gives lots of gold. I mean, when it's upgraded. That's what happens when you can't have any control over your jungle. You're not supposed to get out of the base anymore right now, because they can't fight, unless they would move at 3 perhaps, but Lissandra has never initiated a fight. What they could do there would be Lissandra dashing from a bush or anywhere where she wouldn't be seen, engaging on someone, I guess Lucian, because I have got QSS by now. And then Scanner has to follow up. And, okay, yeah. They would have to engage on Lucian with Gunnar and Lissandra, and at the same time, Poppy would have to ult me away from the fight. If that doesn't happen, they can't hit the base, because they're just gonna not be able to get the jungle monsters, because they can just die as you saw. So they're just gonna die without doing anything. This Vilmo, it's, I don't know, kind of a mix between Drake and Nash. The buff is really strong. Kind of like the natural buff. But it's not hard to take. The only issue is that it debuffs you a lot. So if the enemy team spots us right now... Okay, right there, if they had seen us, they could have killed 2 people at least. Because we were really low, and we had minus 60 armor and magic resist. We had lots of attack speed reductions on us as well. And also, one thing with Vilemo is that when you run away from it, or from her, I guess, I'm gonna say her, yeah, she can do an area attack that's gonna pull everybody towards her. So you can't really disengage from it as freely as you would have wanted. Just to show what the buff does. So it empowers the minions kind of like the Nashor does, but also your minions are gonna feed the enemy minions. If I could show it anywhere soon. Okay, there. This is good if you want to push, because your minions are gonna get some free damage off on the enemy minions, and if you can just attack at the same time as them, I guess you can clear the enemy wave without having your minions take any damage. However, I'm gonna just let the fight go. Yeah, they just can't really fight us anymore. They're tanky, but we are tanky as well, and we can't even tank the turret. Lucian joining earlier than Lissandra because she was in base. Okay, there we didn't get any kill, but we just forced all of them off so we could finish the turret, and we can start taking the second one. We're gonna greed a little bit afterwards. Okay. Right there, I should never have looked up to the turret. I'm gonna die for no reason. Yeah, I should have just... There I was supposed to just stay, I guess, at the same range as Lucian was. Because I had no way to push the turret without putting myself in danger. If you wanna rewatch this. Right there. Lissandra's gonna be able to engage soon. 5 seconds. And there's no way we can retaliate with that amount of health and enemy turrets. So that's how you can be greedy, because when you have the Vilmo buff, you're really just supposed to stay around to buff your minions, so that they can't clear them instantly, and have your range people attack the turrets when it's not dangerous. Yeah, that's him outplaying everybody. Okay. I haven't talked about the support items yet. As a support, you want to start by getting your Face of the Mountain. There, just to put the things in order a bit. So yeah, Face of the Mountain for buff. Then it depends. Most people take Knights for seconds. It's not bad. I mean, just gives good stats and good tankiness for both people, I guess. And afterwards, you're gonna choose between Iron Salary and Redemption. You're gonna get both anyway, but just choose which one you go for first. I believe... Oh, they haven't taken it. Okay. When you're against a hypercarry that heals a lot, or just against a bot laner that heals a lot, so Mordekaiser is a perfect example of a hypercarry with high sustain. As a support, you're supposed to rush Executioner's Calling. Like right before or right after the Face of the Mountain. But you can't wait, you just have to take it, because it will just make you so much stronger in trades. But she hasn't taken it. Rip for her. Okay, now that's just, I guess, basic macro knowledge. They can't really fight us into B2, so we're just gonna get the Hinub. Ah, that's something else. Well, that was being greedy. They can fight us into B2. I mean, normally, so we just take the inhib, and on the other hand, Lissandra can't really entirely prevent Lucian from pushing bot lane. So we just split to 1. Well, they still can't fight us anyway, so... yeah. There we get the inhib. In Twisted Treeline, when your inhib is down, you can't not let someone in your base. Because you only have 1 access turret. And even though it attacks fast, it's 2 attacks per second. 2.1, where does that come from? Well, anyway, it's 2 attacks per second. And just 2 waves of super minions would be able to take that down if you don't watch over it. So right there, we kinda reset, we get the jungle because they can't take it anymore. That's when you force them in the base, if you can't push them, like if you can't take the turrets, if you can't actually have a siege going, you're just supposed to force them to stay inside, clear the minion waves right as they're gonna hit the outside of the base, and take the jungle. You're gonna get more farm than them, and you just wait for Vilmo to respawn, because when it's up, they can't wave clear anymore. And yeah, when you have the Vilmo buff, you're just supposed to take a turret without taking any risks, so not what we did before. And same thing, if you have 1 inhib taken, you can just go 3 people on the other lane and force them to defend us too. Because they have to send 1 people to defend there. Nothing's gonna happen there. Guess I can just speed it up a bit. See, they have to constantly keep someone defending. Oh, also, one important thing. You can't dive, or it's really, really unsafe to dive on that Nexus turret. Because it attacks twice per second, and that's gonna kill anyone. I mean, anyone who tries to dive it, for no reason. Someone's AFK right there. Okay. I can actually... yeah, I should show that. The Vilmo attacks. It's actually quite important to know that Vilmo attacks in AoE, but in 2 different ways. It has one attack that deals damage in a zone like this. So if you just put two people there, they're gonna just both get damage. So you don't want to do that. And at the same time, the other attack is gonna damage in a line. Like there. So you can't also put your people aligned. Also, that attack can be seen in the lane, because the AoE goes up to that point. So if the enemies are there, or if they just have minions there, they can see that you're doing the Vilmo and they can contest. So for that reason, you always want to put your people, or the one who's tanking, on the left side of Vilmo. I mean, on your base's side of the Vilmo. So that we just keep pushing. Yeah, we had two people bot lane to push turrets, and I was staying alone top lane because I could fight anyone. And I had to go top lane to buff the minions. You can see the fear. Ah, that was the bug right there. I have to insist on that one. Just notice my attack on the last minion. There. I did not cancel it, and it did not deal any damage, so I missed the minion because of it. I'm gonna do something bad right there. But anyway, the principle is quite simple. I'm just attacking turret because they're not trying to defend. And if someone had been there to defend, I would have just stood around there to buff the minions. Meanwhile, my team would have taken that thing with the people, that other turret, with the people and the buff, which is what they're doing because they just all went to chase me and to clear those minions. So they take the turret, they take the inhib. Do they? Yes, they do. Did I die there? No, I killed him. Nope. And there it's kind of dead for them because they lost two inhibs. They can still win with two inhibs down, but that early in the game, it's really hard. The thing is that, yeah, if you have two inhibs down, you just can't leave the base anymore because there's gonna be four siege minions or super minions coming in your base at all times, and they didn't have a Nexus turret anymore to tank it. So they always had to put people in there, and those minions hurt a lot. They had some slight relief in the fact that we still had the Vilmo buff, and it was gonna expire. No, it wasn't gonna expire anytime soon. But if they take your inhibs, but Vilmo is not gonna respawn anytime soon, it's fine. You can just stay in base and never leave the base and just wave clear, wave clear, wave clear. They're gonna take more minions thanks to the jungle, but at least you're gonna get 8 minions per wave. It's not the best situation, but at least you can just start it out. If there's no Vilmo, they can't really just... They can't get anything else. If they can't break your defense. If they can't break your defense. So that was also pretty much how to snowball. And I think that's all the important things I had to say. I didn't talk about the good bot areas, but I guess Morgana is really good. But I'm banning her every game. Orianna and Syndra were played all the time in Season 7. They're not really played anymore, I don't know why. But now we have things like Bran, who's getting played again. I really don't know what's played in the bot lane. Cassiopeia sometimes. Malzahar is played a lot, actually. And Zoe sometimes. She's banned quite a lot, but not all that much. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just to have a look at the final builds. Oh, that's a new... I mean, that's an item for Twisted Treeline only. I think it's pretty good. Only costs 2.5k and gives 50 AP, armor, and magic resist, and tenacity. But I think it's very good. Yeah, you have Sonia's and Rabadon's that are put together, but I can't show that. And that's about it, I think. Yep. So I hope it was useful, and I'm just gonna let us win. Thanks for watching.